Jessica Lombardo with 4 Construction Pros. We are live at World of Concrete with Mark Bacciani and Russ Young with Tenna Construction Management. And we're going to learn more about their software and what it can really help construction contractors achieve. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So Mark, why don't you start by giving us an overview of kind of what Tenna does and what it would mean to a construction contractor?
Sure. So Tenna's whole platform is designed to revolutionize equipment fleet operations. So what does that mean? That means really taking control of your equipment so you have the right data to make better decisions on a day in and day out basis.
Great, so what is Tenna really looking forward to in 2022 and kind of any new plans or projects you have in the works?
That's a great question. Probably best to start with, we're super excited about where we are today in terms of all this purpose-built hardware to manage all your variety of construction equipment, whether the heavy stuff, the stuff on the road, your tools, everything in between, your buckets, your attachments, your scissor lifts, your cranes, etc. Looking forward, I should say that that's kind of given us this trickle-down effect where the person that manages equipment can work with the mechanic, the shop, the field, the operators, all get a mobile platform. All that has been fantastic today. Looking to this year, what we deeply invested in is working with CFMA and AGC, many of the big construction-focused ERPs, the Viewpoint, Sages Foundation, Coins of the world, to take all that data and push it into the ERP and into business intelligence. What that means is, and what we're super excited about over this year, is now we make a huge difference to the CFO and the owner of these construction companies. Now, instead of how much is my equipment costing me, they can go, I know exactly what it's costing me, I know exactly what I should own, I can now bid more efficiently, and I can drop that savings down to my bottom line on projects.
Yeah, I was talking to a CFO a couple weeks ago, and it's like, yeah, you know what, I know my labor costs, I know my project costs, but my equipment costs are a sandwich. Now all of a sudden they're not really saying those things anymore because now we can help them solve those problems.
So moving forward in 22, what are some new integrations and partnerships you guys are looking to?
Yeah, I would say we're going to go deeper on some of the integrations now. So if you look at the big players in project management, the Procores of the world, we are going to go deeper with that. And with the ERPs, we have we're giving them all that live asset information now. We really want to go deep to really help that CFO and owner make very intelligent and fast decisions. So give them all the information on exactly what their equipment's costing them, almost so they can treat it more like an investment portfolio instead of that sort of boys with toys of walk around my yard and just be proud of owning something. The ones that are really making money are realizing they get paid to do projects. Did you get that road built? Did you get that dam done? And that the equipment's a mean to that end. So now, much like they might get rid of an underperforming stock or buy more of a stock that performs well, now with this information they can do that kind of play with their equipment portfolio. And that's the power that we're going to give them, and we're going to go really deep in that functionality and those integrations so that data's going to live wherever the heck they want it to live.
Yeah, and now you've got that information. One CFO I was talking to recently, he was saying essentially now with Tenna, I can really take a look at my equipment and figure out what's my risk. And that's a huge question that I don't know if a lot of other CFOs have been able to answer, but now with Tenna they can.
And having that data at their fingertips is really important to them. So kind of talk about the integrations that you currently support.
Oh yeah, so they're sort of on the front end, we work with all the big OEMs. So you might have a Caterpillar or Komatsu or John Deere. It's an endless list of stuff you might own, and we will take that data and ingest that in for you. Or you can see a bunch of our trackers here. Not to go deep on that, but we want that. We really want to automate that process. So anything that takes you away from someone having to write that data down and collect that autonomously. We want less of the world where, remember, you used to get in a Ford or rent a hearse and you had to learn their technology, and now you just use your iPhone. Tenna's the iPhone, right? And so all that's going to be automated and trusted and live. And so that's on the front end, and then sort of we'll be at that middle, and then what we'll do is also send that data wherever the heck you want it. The project manager will be able to see that data in Procore. The CFO and the exec team and the owner will be able to see that where they want to see it, either in the ERP or in their business intelligence system, right? And so we're going to continue to build out on that front end. And you look at things like cranes, like there's companies out there like Fleet Cost and Care. We're going to go much deeper with integration there, so that not only can you manage everything you own, but look at everything across the board, whether you rent it, and all that's going to be coming out over the next year.
Yeah, and I mean, just obviously the possibilities of having your equipment data all be able to flow into your additional systems is just such a boon right now. You know, rather than all the manual entry and all the time waste and inefficiency of doing that in other ways, now the value is just going to be much higher.
And Russ, you kind of touched on it, but who is Tenna currently integrated with, and what goals do you share with your integration companies?
Oh, I guess I did cover that. Sorry, I often skip ahead. I usually get in trouble for that. So the second part of it was...
We can stop there if you don't want to answer that question.
What was the second part? I actually totally forgot it.
What goals do you share with your integration partners? I think that's an important question.
Yeah.
I can just repeat the question and say, Russ, you kind of touched on who
Take
you
two.
integrated with. Yeah. So Russ, you kind of touched on who Tenna currently is integrated with, but what goals do you share with your integration companies?
It's a great question. We all have to work together to think about the construction industry that we serve. We need to think about their solution, not our solution. So yeah, we think about equipment as the center of our universe, but a construction company has to manage their projects, their labor, they have to manage their equipment, their materials, and they need all this to flow so that they can, what I call manage by exception, and they waste, today a lot of time is wasted in construction. So when we talk with our partners, it's all about, you have built something that's built for construction, we have something that's built for construction, how do we make their life easier? And let me talk a little bit, sometimes we're talking about safety and compliance, but at the end of the day, if we integrate this well, we are literally saving lives. Like if you think about integration of fleet cost and care, if you're getting that data in instead of a crane tipping over, right? That kind of use case, or a driver acting more safely. These are the things that we can act on in real life now. So literally having people go home at 5 in the afternoon instead of 7 at night and go home safely. So those are some of the things that excite me. And then of course, to the owner, it's got to be like, hey, I used to make 7% on my project, now I can make 9%, or I can win more business, right? And we also get very excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to be able to solve real construction problems, and these are the kinds of discussions we want to engage in with both our partners and the companies we serve.
And that's so important because integrations, they can be actually confusing to contractors. So simplifying it is huge, but why should they care about these integrations? What is the value of them?
Right, well, two things. One, you want that data needs to be trusted and live and autonomous, right? So we have a lot of data, but how do you use it? So they need to think about how is it going to make my company more efficient, make me get work done on time, make my labor efficient, and increase margins, right? And be safer. And it's our responsibility to do that for them. I think one of the problems you have in the early days of construction technology is a lot of them were forced to build and manage those integrations themselves, and it is a huge pain point. It takes a giant suck of time. You need to work with construction technology companies that are going to partner with you and drive that for you. It should be automated. It needs to be click and play. Yep. Right? And you set these things up, it's super simple, and they should manage them, we should be. We need to be a good partner there. When we partner with them on Tenna, it's not just about Tenna, it's making the solution work for them, and integrations are a huge value add there.
But I totally get the point. I mean, even you hear the word integration, it's kind of this nebulous word, like what does that mean exactly? And I think just really boiling it down to understanding, we're going to be connecting a few key pieces of data that are going to really drive your business in a better way. Once you really lay that out there and understand that, look, it's not going to cook you breakfast, it's not going to cook you lunch and dinner, but guess what? You're going to get 2 or 3 really important pieces you can take action on. Now all of a sudden that really takes the air out of the balloon and you can really just feel good about what's going to go on in the process.
That's a huge point. That like the IT person knows what integrations are and what API is. But what does it mean? At the end of the day, understanding the equipment operator in the field, what do they need? The mechanic and the equipment manager, what do they need? The accountant, the IT person in terms of security, and at the end of the day, the owner and the CFO, what do they need? And your accountant, that data they all need is at Tenna, we work very hard to understand each of their point of views, understand their problems, and connect all that together, and solve all their problems together. That's why integrations at the end of the day is important. It's not tech talking to itself, it's solving those day-to-day problems they have, making sure that they're safe, effective, and don't have to do things 3 times.
Yeah, so the proof is really in the pudding, like you said. Like when they see that success, they know how important it is. So kind of talk about contractors and the success that they have had with integrating their technologies and software systems.
Right. At that point, I think the voice of our customers is more exciting than what either Mark or I can say. But if I can paraphrase them, many of them are just understanding this. Like, you go back a year ago and we'd have conversations that felt a little bit like, hey, my house is on fire. I don't have time to talk about your fire extinguisher right now.
Yeah.
And now they're getting that, oh, if I put all this in, all these death by 1,000 cuts go away,
yeah.
right? And so there's an up-leveling in expectations of what they expect from their technology. Even if you go back, 10 years ago, you might be driving a D6 because you didn't want to be in front of a laptop. But what's really changed and changed the conversation is almost all of them have one of these in their pocket now. And they know how to use Amazon, they know how to use their iPhone, and they're like, why can't I just know where all my stuff is, request maintenance, locate right from here? Mm-hmm. And that's what's really made the difference, I think.
Yeah, and then just obviously now, because this is happening autonomously, once it gets set up the right way, now you're taking people who are now driving much more high value activities rather than manually having project engineers walking a job and inputting hours, or project accountants doing double reconciliation. Now all of a sudden you're freeing up people to actually do the work that they were intended to do.
Yeah, contractors, they just don't have time to waste time anymore, and I feel like they need to embrace this technology. So where do you really see integration capabilities kind of moving in the future?
Well, a lot of it is just making sure everybody understands it. So the integrations are going to deeper. I talked a little bit about like asset financials, and that's going to be really important, but I see that as step C. Step A today that I kind of want to, I guess I'd say foot stomp myself, is we need them to understand why. So the folks in the field understanding how much easier their job can be. Instead of, we have a labor shortage right now. If we force them to come onto the job site and learn 7 different technologies that aren't built for them, they just don't sit for it anymore. It's got to be as easy as Uber. So that's where Tenna wins in the field and inside the shop and in the yard. And then on the other side, the CFO needs to realize, oh, my end of month doesn't have to be a giant fire drill. Everybody's hair is on fire and we stop doing the other work. Like, this stuff can be automated, simplified, and that's what integrations bring to you. So we need to get out there, and frankly, I think we need to preach and let people know there is a better way than your house being on fire.
Yep. And that's, I think, the exciting part is that, just opening everybody's eyes to the fact that, there's more than one way to do it. Just because something's been working for a long time doesn't mean it's necessarily the best way, and now to be able to drive greater efficiency is just an exciting prospect.
And I love what you said, making the technology as easy as Uber. Because when you think of it that way, why wouldn't they use it if it's going to make their lives easier?
Yep.
So anything you kind of want to leave our viewers with today before we say goodbye?
What do you got, Mark?
I just think we're excited for the future. This is only the beginning. I think that, obviously we've come a long way, and I think technology's come a long way, but these are just all coming from ongoing conversations with our customers. We know that we know what they need. We know that construction is going in an exciting direction, and this is just the beginning. So if you like what we're doing now, wait till you see where we are a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, the things we're able to build together.
Yeah.
Well, if you're at World of Concrete this week, make sure you stop by the North Hall and see Tenna, and thank you so much for watching.